Hi, so it's makeup tutorial day, and this was requested by Newt. The first step that I always do when I do makeup is that I make sure my face is clean, and if I wash my face right beforehand, I use cold water to make sure that my pores are closed. I do an acne treatment every day, so I always moisturize twice a day, but if you're not doing that, it's kind of important because if you have dry skin, then the foundation doesn't really look good, and I use a lot of foundation. I also shave at this step because shave, and actually aftershave helps close your pores, but shaving is kind of necessary. And then I like to put in my contacts before I do anything else to my face so that I don't die, which happens a lot. So I've already done that. My eyes are usually brown. I'm doing Miuruma tonight. So my first step is I usually use primer. This is the one I use. Apparently it's a really good brand. I saw someone advertising it on TikTok. I just got it. I have a monthly Ipsy bag. It's kind of like a weird gel. I also like this one a lot. It's by Chiate London. It's a watermelon primer, and I think I'm going to use this one because I used the gel one last time. So I just squirt some out. And this is where I would die if I hadn't put my contacts in, because I'm already putting stuff on my face. And I like primer because I feel like it does do a really good job. I'm gonna put both. You can put both. It does a really good job of just smoothing out your pores and keeps foundation mainly from, if I can open this, from getting into it, especially my forehead, which is usually covered by my wig, but I always like to put makeup on it just in case. After the primer, we're going to put foundation. I just use CVS drugstore foundation. This is the one I use. And it took me a few tries to get my right shade. I started like 2 shades lighter, and this one seems a little too dark for me, but you know, in the end, does it really matter? As long as you can get as close as possible, because I'm not gonna buy 2 foundations and mix them together, although that is an option. I just don't like spending money on makeup that much. So my makeup style is unfortunately learned from the likes of Jeffree Star and my ex-girlfriend, who's an ex for a reason. And so I feel like it includes being overdramatic and as fake as possible, which is why I put on so much foundation. You could easily use like BB cream or you know, anything. You don't have to use foundation at all. You could just use if you have acne like me, then you can use concealer. I just like to use foundation because I want my face to look pristine. I want my skin to actually look good because it really doesn't. I actually got pretty good coverage. I also like to foundation my ears and my neck, as you may have noticed, just so if I have a photo, it seems like it blends a lot more. Especially, I don't really do like chest showy stuff, but I think I had this one dress where it did. My face was a totally different color, so I had to, you know, bring it down. So after that, I take concealer and I'll put it over where I have big acne spots. So for me right now, it's pretty much around my mouth. Sometimes it's up here. They're pretty flat right now, so that helps. But I also do right here. This is just to highlight those areas. And so I'm gonna take my beauty blender. I'm just gonna pat it in. I also tend to have dark circles under my eyes, so the concealer helps a little bit with that. You can also do like color correcting stuff. I don't, because I don't know how to use it, because I'm a basic bitch. So there we go. Dark circles gone. Look at my skin. I look so good. I look so fake. And that's the goal. So next, I have some makeup brushes that I like to use. Next is we're going to contour. And I like contouring. I kind of need it to actually look feminine. But also, it makes this look a lot less plasticky. And a little bit more natural, which we kind of need. Okay, so... this is my ELF contour palette. I like it because it's cheap. I got mine at Target. It lasts a long time. I think it actually expires in like a year, but my last one lasted maybe 2 years because I don't do makeup that often. So I have this brush. It says LaRousse. And I like to use that one for putting down powder because you can see it's very, it's quite strong. This side looks a little bit better. Maybe I should match it though. Okay. And then I use this one from Complex Culture. This is their powder brush to blend it in. There's some debate about whether you should do like eyes or your face first. I actually have like switched over a couple of times. I think for my like plasticky look, I prefer doing the face first, just because I feel like foundation couldn't like ruin a winged liner. And so if I overdo it, like I kind of overdid it on this side. I always do. That's why it's nice that they have different to help with blending. So I do my cheeks, which you can find easily when you go just along there. My jaw, which, I mean, that's pretty obvious. You don't want to accentuate it. I like to accentuate it mostly right here, but if you're doing a guy, maybe you want to bring it up to here and make it more angular. If I'm doing a guy for cheekbones, I do. And then I bring it down a little bit to make it more angular that way. So, and then I take the smaller brush from Farrah, which I'm pretty sure is not used for this, but this is what I like to use it because I think it's perfect size. I contour my nose. And I think I've mentioned this on a TikTok before, but I'm a little bit insecure about my nose. Or that's what I'm most insecure about when I cosplay. And this is because I have an Asian nose. I am half Asian. I'm half Filipino specifically. And so if you've ever seen a Filipino person before, if you've ever seen an Asian person before, like, they all look different. Like, you can kind of tell what country they're from. And for Filipinos, a lot of times it's the nose that gives it away. It tends to be kind of wide and kind of flat. And I don't know, I think it's just, you know, growing up with, like, in America, with American beauty standards, it's become kind of a insecurity for me, especially when I smile. Like, you can't see it right now, especially because I've contoured my nose. But if I'm, like, you can see it, like, fan out like that, not a fan. Obviously, I don't care if other people have it. That's just, like, you know, it's just for me. Of course. So there we go. I tend to lay it on a little thick on the nose, and then I'll bring it back, because for me it's easier just to, you know, get it started and then bring it back a little bit. I also, because of my insecurity, I make it more obvious, because like once you get like the lighting now, it doesn't look too bad. It does look like it's been make-upped, obviously, but then you can just take a sponge. If you did it too much, when we get to powdering, see, even just dabbing it a little bit made it more natural. And if I was going for a natural look, I don't think I would contour as much as I just did, since I want to look fake. Here we are. Okay. And so after that, I like to spray a little bit. And this is NYX matte finish. You can do, they also have dewy finish, but you know. Anything that I have actually bought, I got from Target. Anything else is from Ipsy. So I do a powder step, and I like to powder where I will highlight first. Because I honestly, like, some people put highlighter up the nose like this, like I just did with the powder. I don't really like that look. I'll do the tip of my nose, and then that's it. So I do powder just to give it like a, like I highlighted, but I didn't look. Because I don't like it to be shiny, especially if I'm doing under lights, because it looks kind of weird to me. I guess it would fit with the like fake as possible. So I use this other brush from Vera to do that kind of thing. It also helps like press any foundation in. But I already sprayed it, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just overkilling it. And next I'm doing this in the contour palette as well, just to give it a little more brightness. This, I wish didn't break apart, but it's amazing for Umi Sonoda because it's blue. It's by City Color. It says Glow Pro Stellar, and this is a Nebula. If only it didn't break apart. I still keep it because I'll still use it, of course. I'm not giving that up. This one is also good too. If only I knew what it was called. That's when I got, that one is actually probably old and I should throw it out. But that's when I had Ipsy samples. So this is the one I usually use. It's Ofra Highlighter Blissful. So bright that when I held it up to the light, you couldn't see it. It's very, very good. I also tend to use a liquid one. But like I said, I think that's from Benefit. Yeah, Benefit High Beam. This one's a liquid one. We don't need that tonight. It's very, very effective. Though, I like to save it. It's that one for like when I'm in person with people. So you can see, you can even see like that little bit of my nose just really shines. I don't know if you can see my, there we go. Shiny. And then last we have the blush. My blush brush is also from Complex Culture. And I just got this blush palette from Lovecraft Beauty. And so we're gonna go in to this. Let's try the lighter one. I haven't used that yet. I like this one because it really does deposit like a good amount of pigment. And I'm just putting this between where I highlighted, which would be the top of my cheekbone, and where I contoured. And I'm kind of putting a lot. I always put a lot. It goes with that kind of like fakey thing. And also I feel like it helps blend the contour a little bit so it looks a little more natural. You know, as natural as any of this can be. So of course, during my makeup tutorial, I kind of mess up. This side ended up more angular, which actually it kind of tends to do. And this side is more soft, and I like that side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of correct with my Tarte powder. I'm just gonna go over it lightly so I can still see where it is. And then I can just go over it again. All right, so you can see I have officially saved myself from embarrassment. So to sum this up, primer, foundation, concealer, contour, highlight, and then blush. I include powdering in with the highlight, and also I like to squirt after I put on contour. If you mess up, powder is your best friend. It should be, I like the Tarte brand, but I have another one over here too. I just feel like this one is more effective, and I got it through Ipsy. I am not sponsored, if I didn't say that already. I just thoroughly enjoy the brand. So yeah, you can see that my face is done. So next, I'm going to do the eyes, and I do that in a very specific order too. Okay, so over the years I've collected a lot of makeup. Let me tell you about the eyeshadow palettes that I use. So this one is, I got it for probably about $7 at TJ Maxx. My friend Liz has the same exact one, except it's a different edition. So mine is just sparkly. Hers is the matte version. I also have this one and this one. These I got both from Ipsy. I don't know if I have any more iconic ones. Oh, okay. My sister got me this one from Morphe. This is what I use for more like exaggerated drag or night looks. If I want something to be really sparkly, this is what I use. And then this one is just, I don't know. I don't think this one's really notable. It takes a lot to make the pigment show up. I'll be honest. This is Wander Beauty Seascape. So I'm doing Miu Aruma, so my look is pretty much going to be a little bit more pink, maybe a little bit blue to accentuate the eyes. But I've mentioned before that mine is more of like an e-girl kind of like drag makeup style. For eyes especially, this is where you can, if you want to do more natural makeup, obviously use more natural colors. You go into browns, maybe a little bit of green, maybe a little bit blue if you have blue eyes. It really depends. You have to be careful with blue, especially if you're starting out, because if you don't do it properly, you look like a middle schooler who just discovered makeup, which is not great. So I usually go in with a light color. So you can see I have light blue right here. And where's this? I think overall this color probably won't contribute much, if I'm gonna be honest. I kind of want this side to be pink. I just want this to be kind of like the blending color. So I go into the blue with it, just to make sure that I get that pigment. I wipe off my brush on my hand. And then I go into pink, and I'm gonna use like a bright hot pink, which is why it's not the inside color. And I just go over that like kind of like tan light color. Didn't realize it was going to be that bright, but I like it. And I do tend to do this kind of like tri-color thing on my lids, and then you barely see it because I have so many folds in my eyes. But you know, just do what you can do and follow your own eye shape. This is just what works for me. And then, so those are my two main colors. I'll go in with a darker color, and since we already have blue and pink, I think it'd be appropriate to go in with like a dark blue purple kind of color and just go under So I just put it under where my eyes kind of like naturally fold. So like if I'm looking at you, you won't see it, but then under it's like, ooh. This is actually just to create like a shadowy effect, but if I'm using purple, it's not going to be much of a shadow. It's going to be more of a pop of color. So you can see that. And this is actually turning out really well on camera. I'm very happy about it. And then after putting my shadow, I do like to bring a lighter color up in here, just to kind of highlight my brow bone. Make it seem like I'm wearing more makeup than I am. And so I'll do a lighter color and maybe a mix of the original. So, and the way I tend to do it is I tend to do my makeup so if there's a wing right there, and it helps me plan out my wings because I have two different eye shapes. I don't know if you can tell. Like one side, this side has one fold and this side has two in it. So if I did my eyeliner along the line, this one would go up, this one always goes down. I don't know if it's just like a thing, but so I use the eyeshadow just to kind of, especially on this side, just kind of go up so that I know, hey, I want this side to go up and this side to go up. Eyeshadow is really easy. I think it's my favorite part because I get to be creative with it. And so the last thing I'm going to do is this one. Okay, I'm going to go into moods. And this is supposed to be like a highlight kind of thing. So I'm going to take a little bit of it and I'm going to put it in my inner corner. Why do we do this? I still have no idea. But does it look good? Sure does. And then after I do that, I'm going to put on some eyeliner. So this is the eyeliner I use. I got it at Target. It's NYX Epic ink liner. I like it because it's more of a marker, but you still get that kind of like liquid eyeliner look without having to go through all the trouble of actually putting on liquid eyeliner. Except this always turns out to be like really jet black, so it's good for dramatic looks. If you want a more natural look, I would recommend using a brown liner, especially if you have brown eyes, or maybe just like, so this is a good example. It screws up and down, so it's kind of like one of those like crayons that you can also twist up and down. It will give you like a softer look, and I like to use it for my inner corners. Q-tips are also your best friend too with eyeliner. So you can see it kind of gives like a softer black look. And then I also use this eyeliner. It's Morphe again, it's in coconut. I put this in my waterline, so you just pull down and you go like this. And so it allows my eyes to pop, and if I'm doing a more dramatic look, like after I do the black, I'll go back in and I'll fill in some white under the eyes just to make my eyes pop even more. I always felt like this was satisfying, but sometimes it bothers people, especially if someone else is doing it for them. So I like to start with the wing. I've done this a million ways. This is what starts out best for me, is if I do a wing. So I start from the corner and go up. And now I can pull that wing in and start making my aligned eye. I don't know. So I think important thing is when you start going in, I like attach it to the eye first, and you can fill in between where your eye actually is and where the wing starts. Okay, so I messed up a little bit, but that's not a big deal because, so I used to keep my eyeliner pretty thin like this, and that works out, but I'm gonna put in fake lashes, and you know, with fake lashes, sometimes they'll create their own kind of line, so it's always good for me to make a little bit of a thicker eyeliner line. So you just gotta do the same to the other side, alright? So easy. Okay, so now that both sides are done, and more successful than I usually do it, if I'm gonna be honest, then I pull down from the wing, just to give it that extra anime look. And I like to do little eyelashes. This one I do too. If I do like Shuichi, Saihara, I'll do like 3. Normally I'll do 3. I'll do one big one, and then 2 smaller ones. But this is for Miuruma, so. She gets 2 eyelashes for now. Next are eyebrows. And so with eyebrows, I like to have one of these on hand. You can also get the like mascara wands from most makeup stores when they have like samples. They have like mascara wands or Victoria's Secret or whatever. For this one, I'm just gonna go with my natural brown brows because she has light blonde hair, and I've tried doing lighter brows with like Chika Fujiwara, and while it turned out okay, I didn't like the look because it looks like I had no eyebrows. So I'm gonna start here, and I just go along my natural brow because I actually like it. And I like it because I pluck it, so I guess it's not really that natural. I tend to square mine off too. And this is already kind of like shaped to be a brow. It says Scone Brow Wand. I've had this for a long time too, so I don't really know. Don't be afraid to overdo this, or if you feel like this is already too much, like I've used this on my sister, who actually has darker eyebrows than me, but she has less hair in them. It just looked too intense for her. And sometimes it's like that, you know? You just gotta experiment and see what works for you. You can use eyeshadow. I've used like brow shadow before, but it's pretty much the same thing as eyeshadow, so don't waste your time on buying another product. I would probably spray it down after just to make sure it stays, but if you overdo it with this, you kind of blend it out while you brush it again. And you can brush it as much as you want to get as much of it out as you want. And you can see they're never gonna be matching, not with how my eyebrows are. So what I'm gonna do is, this one seems more angular, more pointy, so I'm gonna make this one a little more pointy and bring that out. And I think that doing the brows also really helps if you have a really dramatic eye look, or like obviously my cheeks are dramatic, my eyes are dramatic. Just gonna rub them off a bit more. Making sure that you do your eyebrows helps. So after my eyebrows, that's when I like to do my eyelashes. I have 2 pairs of eyelashes. One of them I use for like drag and like dramatic makeup looks, so mostly Danganronpa, which I'm going to use for this. And then I also have thinner ones, which I use more for Love Live or other cosplays. I don't wear any eyelashes when I cosplay as a guy. I'll just put mascara on. I think fake eyelashes aren't really necessary if you're just doing your everyday stuff, but if you're cosplaying, and especially if it's on TikTok and you want people to see your eyelashes, you're gonna need it. Like right now I don't have anything on my eyelashes, so you can't see anything. Okay, so they're on. You can see, like I mentioned, there's kind of a gap between where my false eyelashes are and my real ones. That's gonna happen, especially if it's like your first time. Sometimes I can nail it, sometimes I can't. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my real eyelashes up with mascara. But you can just look at me from far away. Look how pretty I am now. So our last step, finally, is gonna be the lips. So I like to do just kind of basic lipstick. I don't overline. Sometimes I'll do corners if I'm doing black lipstick. Since I'm not, just gonna fill it in. When you put a wig on, or when you have this much makeup, you kind of need to accentuate your lips at least a little bit, so that, you know, they actually appear. Especially if you're like on a stage or something, you need to have those like bold colors just to make sure. For an everyday look, you know, like the lipstick I had originally, this baby one, would have been fine. Oh, it's antimatter lipstick and cosmic. I actually really like it. Yeah, so that's my makeup tutorial, and I'll show you what I look like with the wig on, or with the whole cosplay on. My last tip for makeup is make sure you wear a shirt that you can pull like the collar up, or even a button-up shirt, because if you do this much makeup, you don't want to ruin it. Speaking of ruining it, just spray again, just to make sure. And so this could actually last for a couple of hours because of the primer and because of that setting spray, along with the powder, and I should be good to go. So yay, this is my cosplay. So I hope you liked my makeup tutorial, and have a good time.